Sometimes, people don't belittle you because of who you are. They belittle you because of what you tolerate. That's a hard truth. Social psychology research at Stanford University shows that strangers form an impression of your status, power, and boundaries within the first 30 seconds of meeting you. In other words, before you even speak much, people are unconsciously deciding whether you're someone to respect or someone they can push around. Carl Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." Yet many of us shrink ourselves to fit in, fearing rejection, and that shrinking leads to being undervalued. Jung believed that the parts of ourselves we repress, our assertiveness, our self-respect, our voice, are the very things that make us whole. When you suppress them, others sense it, and they start to treat you smaller than you are. Hi, welcome back to my channel. Today, we're diving deep into attitudes that make you not easily belittled. We'll explore psychological insights, Carl Jung's thought, and some real-life stories that will help you build an inner backbone. Not arrogance, but authentic self-respect. Stay until the end of the video, because one of the later points will surprise you. It's a simple shift, but it changes the way people instantly perceive your value and authority. By the end, you'll have a full roadmap to becoming someone who commands respect without even trying. First attitude, know your intrinsic worth. This is the foundation. If you do not have a deep inner sense of worth, everything else becomes a mask. Carl Jung called it individuation, the process of discovering your authentic self rather than living through other people's expectations. Psychology research on core self-evaluations shows that people who rate themselves highly in self-worth, self-efficacy, and emotional stability naturally project confidence. This doesn't mean you shout your worth. It's more subtle. You feel you're enough, even when no one praises you. Start by daily journaling about your strengths, your victories, and your resilience. Notice the internal shift. When you see yourself as valuable, others mirror it back to you. Second attitude, boundaries are your invisible armor. Boundaries are not walls to keep people out. They're guardrails to keep your self-respect intact. A Harvard Business Review study found that individuals who assert their needs calmly are rated as more competent and likable than those who stay silent and resentful. People with no boundaries become magnets for disrespect because they teach others, "I'll accept anything." Practice saying, "I'm not available at that time," or "I'm not comfortable with that," without apology. The first few times feel scary, but you're retraining not just others, you're retraining yourself. Once boundaries become habitual, you're seen as someone with a spine, and belittling you becomes much harder. Third attitude, speak slowly and intentionally. Communication researchers have found that slow, intentional speakers are perceived as more intelligent, more credible, and more powerful. When you rush your words or over-explain, you unconsciously signal insecurity or a plea for approval. Carl Jung believed that the unconscious reveals itself through small habits. The pace and tone of your speech is one of them. Take a breath before you respond, especially in stressful situations. Let silence do some of the work for you. The pause makes people lean in. When you stop chasing their validation with nervous speech, you automatically command more respect. Fourth attitude, detach your sense of self from people's approval. This is one of the hardest but most liberating attitudes. Many of us unconsciously tie our self-esteem to how others react. A smile lifts us, a frown crushes us. Jung would say this is living in the persona, the mask we show the world. True individuation means understanding your whole, whether people like you or not. Viktor Frankl wrote that between stimulus and response there is a space, and in that space lies your freedom. In practice, that means pausing before reacting to criticism or praise. Instead of thinking, "Do they like me?" ask, "Am I aligned with my values?" When your inner compass replaces external approval, you become unshakable. Fifth attitude, don't overshare your weaknesses. Share selectively. Here's where a small story illustrates this. Think of Oprah Winfrey in her early career. She was authentic about her background but didn't use it as a tool to gain pity. She framed her vulnerability as strength, not desperation. Social researchers call this the selective vulnerability effect. Oversharing too early or too much gives people unearned access to your inner world, and sometimes ammunition to diminish you. The healthier path is to reveal your story gradually, in a context of trust and with a frame of growth. This doesn't mean being fake, it means being wise. You remain approachable, yet powerful. Sixth attitude, practice calm assertiveness, not aggression. Many confuse assertiveness with aggression, but they're opposites. Aggression shouts, but true assertiveness speaks calmly and firmly. In conflict situations, the person who remains calm appears stronger. Jung's concept of the shadow explains why. When you integrate your suppressed anger and power, you no longer explode unpredictably. You can use that energy as a tool. Keep your tone low and steady, make direct eye contact, and use short, clear statements. For example, instead of saying, "You're always disrespecting me," you could say, "I will not be spoken to that way." Let's continue this when we're both calm. This quiet authority makes belittling you risky for others. Seventh attitude, develop your competence relentlessly. This one might surprise you. Skill and competence are silent power. You don't have to announce it, people feel it. A landmark study at Columbia University showed that people with visible expertise gain influence far more reliably than those who rely solely on charm or social dominance. Competence is hard to fake. When you invest in your skills, whether that's professional development, learning negotiation, improving your health, or mastering emotional regulation, you're raising your own market value. Even in social settings, being knowledgeable and capable makes others think twice before treating you lightly. Competence is your secret armor. Eighth attitude, align your appearance and body language with self-respect. Your posture, grooming, and clothing choices are not superficial. They're signals. Social psychologist Amy Cuddy's research on power poses showed that standing tall and using open gestures can immediately shift both your internal chemistry and how others perceive you. Carl Jung would say that the outer reflects the inner. Dressing with self-respect reinforces your internal identity. Walk tall, shoulders back, eyes up. Wear clothes that make you feel like the best version of yourself. This isn't about luxury, it's about congruence. When your external signals match your internal self-worth, people unconsciously upgrade their treatment of you. Ninth attitude, be consistent. Let your yes mean yes, your no mean no. Consistency is underestimated. If one day you accept mistreatment and the next day you explode, you create confusion, which weakens your authority. Psychology calls this intermittent reinforcement. It actually teaches people to test your limits. When you are consistent, when your words, tone, and follow-through match, you develop a reputation. Over time, no one even tries to belittle you because they already know how you'll respond. This takes discipline and patience, but it pays off massively. Consistency builds a quiet aura of reliability and power. If you start embodying even a few of these attitudes, you'll notice a shift, not only in how people treat you, but in how you treat yourself. Self-respect is contagious. The world mirrors back to you what you've decided about yourself. If you found this video valuable, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me keep making content like this for you. And let's start a conversation. Which of these attitudes do you feel you need to develop most right now? Comment below. I read every single one. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.